Yeah, we'll be introducing our app today. My name is Musonda Kapatamoyo. I live in Edwardsville, Illinois. This is my partner, Jerry.
Good morning, everybody. Today we want to tell you a little bit about a product that we developed about a year ago, and we put it out in the marketplace. We put it out in the marketplace already, and it's already taken on about 800 or 900 users, several hundred, a few thousand children, and so forth. So it's out there, it's in the live, it's actually being used by people already. We want to present it to you and also draw your feedback on how it might, we'd like to have your ideas on how it might be improved and so forth. The people that you see up in the top right-hand corner there are the, Musonda and myself are the principal conceivers or designers, and the fellow in the middle, Addison, he's our programmer, and we actually met Addison a couple years ago right here at 1 Million Cups, and it's turned out to be a very, very good, very effective relationship. So without further ado, we've got a few PowerPoint slides we're just going to step through as a vehicle for a presentation, and please feel free to interrupt us along the way if you have a comment or a question. So what is Custody Transfer Log? It's a program, it's an app. It operates on iOS or Apple or either platform, and it operates on phones or on tablets. So it is a program to help people document pickups and drop-offs of children that are involved in a divorce where the children are between the two co-parents. We all know these statistics. We see them in the news all the time, every day. About 40% or 50% of marriages end in divorce. You guys hear me okay in the back there? Projecting. What we're talking about is documenting the act of transferring a child or children from one co-parent to another, and being able to document that in a nice, neat, orderly, accurate form. We've got some actual screenshots of the app as we go along here. Backing up here, I wanted to discuss just briefly why we did this in the first place. We wanted to seek a way for a co-parent to accurately and easily record the transfer, a pickup or a drop-off of a child or children from one co-parent to another. So that was the high-level impetus for the program in the first place. How we did it was the use of standard technology, the internet, mobile technology, and what we ended up with was the app itself, Child Custody Transfer Log. It's available out in the app stores for both iOS and Android devices as we speak. And we put it out in the marketplace approximately a year ago, late 2018. And it seems to be taking on users, about two new users a day. The app itself captures the date and the time and the place and the names of the children that are transferred. And it offers the user an opportunity to indicate the quality of the transfer, from anywhere from very good to very bad. It's a five-star rating system, and the user is also offered the option to put in some textual notes that further describe the nature of the transfer. Once that data is captured, you can't go back and edit it. Oops, I changed my mind. It's there forever. You can look at the history of what you put in on the screen, and you can also generate a PDF for viewing. Not a PDF, but you can generate a listing of the history. And there's all sorts of filters built in. Like I could say I want to see all of the events, transfer events that have happened between two dates, or for a particular child or for a particular place, whatever have you. And then optionally, if you want to, you can generate a PDF. And then once you've got that PDF on your device, you can swish that around, email it around to your lawyer, your other spouse, family services consultant, whoever could consume that data. This is our logo. When you get it, when you download it and install it on your device, and it's free at the moment. We're still working out how we want to monetize the product. This is what it looks like on your phone. Just conventionally, you're going to have an account and you're going to log in with your unique username and password. And once you log in, this is the main user interface, the main user screen, if you will. So you can input one or more children, and then those children can be edited. You can delete them, take them away, change their names or whatever. And in this scenario, two children are selected. So you have to select the children, and what are we going to do here? What is the event all about? Is it a pickup or a drop off? And that's the only thing you have to do. You have to select. Once those are selected, the next thing to happen is I want to rate this transfer. So we can see the rate button down here at the bottom. So when that button is clicked, up comes Google Map of where we are at the moment. It just shows some prominent features of the neighborhood. And the graphics themselves are not stored, but the lat long of that location is stored in the database and it becomes a part of the permanent record. So up at the top there are 5 stars, and the user is asked to choose from 1 star to 5 stars. And in this example, good is selected. And then down in notes where it says example of a good drop-off, you could type in anything you want to there optionally. So the user has specified that this was a good transfer, either a pickup or a drop-off. And then the next slide shows you a picture of everything that you're about to commit to the database. So if you made a mistake, now is the time to go back. But if you press confirm, it becomes a permanent part of the captured record of the database. So that's it. We just went through a complete cycle. So our objective in the first place was to have as few button clicks as possible, so a user can do a pickup or a drop-off, select the children, rate them, and then confirm, and we're done. We're ready for the next. I mentioned that I'm going to turn the mic over to Musonda now, and he'll speak for a while on the product. What we're looking at here is a selected PDF of a history of the pickup and drop-offs that have occurred in the recent history.
So as you can imagine, the statistics are jarring about divorces and custody transfer. But at the core of those statistics are actual people and actual children. So what happens normally is when they're exchanging kids between events, somebody will take a log and they'll write it down. And then when they go to mediation, if there's beef between them, the mediator has to rely on he said, she said, notes that are incomplete and so forth. So the app that Jerry just described has immutable data behind it that cannot be changed. So this information can be used to collaborate events over time. And in this case, the pickup, drop-off, and the ratings and the text information that we put there, the places that these events happen, are going to remain a permanent record. And over time, we can mine that data and see what happened, when it happened, who's been a good parent, who's not been a good parent, the child that we're taking care of, children that we're taking care of, and so forth. Yeah, so like Jerry said, we put this app out in the open market. It's free for now, and just organically, it's been people have been using it. You know, the uptake has been going up ever since. So in the database, we can actually see many trends that people love this app, obviously, without marketing. We haven't done any marketing at all. And they're also using it on a consistent basis. So when we do the textual analysis of the database, you see the comments that they make about how the event went and so forth, and which children are involved for the most part. Once we build like a bigger database of events, it will be easier for us to say what the trends are in general.
I might just amplify here. So the chart that you're looking at, has actual data, actual usage between January of this year and up to the present date, or at least until October the 11th. So this is real data, and so far we've accumulated 859 actual users, 1,140 children, and 2,350 transfer events, either a pickup or a drop-off. And did a little statistical work up here on the right-hand side. As it turns out, every day that goes by during this period, we pick up about approximately 1.9 new users, and that's been pretty consistent, at least for the last 6 to 9 months.
So going forward, we have a few tasks ahead of us, such as maintenance of application, obviously, looking at monetization, marketing and visibility of the app, and adding additional functions that will come out of feedback. We have a few ideas about all these, but you guys can give us some more questions.
My best friend in Louisville, Kentucky has an issue every time he goes and transfers his twin girl with his baby mama, right? I mean, it is. So he's always trying to keep notes. So I went to the App Store and I sent it to him and I go, hey, I think this is for you. So he immediately comes back and goes, what makes it binding and legal in court?
So that's a good question. So what we've done in the past is we're working with Madison County court system. One of the judges there, she's Illinois, exactly, Madison County, Illinois. I'm sure there's others elsewhere. But yeah, in Edwardsville. So Judge Sarah Smith has allowed us to present this to her, and she thinks this is going to be binding as a record. And then we're also talking to different lawyer groups, and we actually made the presentation to them, and they all think this could be a binding product. You want to add something up?
So I got one more thing. This is for me, not for him.
Okay.
The rating, the 1 through 5, I think seems subjective because there's no basis, right? Oh, today was a 4, tomorrow's a 5. Versus if I'm building a profile for my kids, I've got a court order that says, right, got to be on time, I got to meet at this location, right? It's got to be, and then she's got to drop them off. Why don't you build a profile based on the court order, and then I rate on, was she on time, was she late? Now I really have something to go, hey judge, 80% of the time she was late. Hey judge, does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so now you remove the subjectivity out, and now it's more binding in law, I think. Or keep this as a free version, and as you guys want to go, hey, here's a more advanced version, and you guys charge for that one.
It's a good consideration, and we discussed that up in the early design stages.
Yep.
In other words, and by the way, the rating system is a subjective thing. In my opinion, this is a 3, or that's a 4, or that's a 5. But as far as compared to what? In other words, we're not maintaining the transfer schedule that was judged to be the official one by the two parties.
Yep.
When we started thinking about that, then we're into a kind of a significant document editing function.
Okay.
Because now we've got this thing that we've established as the original schedule that the judge said this is it. But now there's been a little jiggle to that. So now we have the user going and the programmer allowing the user to go back in and make a change to that. So that was more than we wanted to bite off and chew at that time, and we also saw some user interface problems with that. But that's always been looming back in there. It is a good thought.
Okay.
So it seems like this is something that a divorce attorney would be interested in owning. When it comes to selling the application, is there a specific type of divorce attorney that you would like to be competing against other divorce attorneys? Specifically, like certain family situations type of a divorce, where the attorney would have a strategic advantage possibly over the other spouse's attorneys, where they say, well, we've documented all this along the ways, and now our client is good, and your client is less good. Like, how are you targeting who you're trying to sell this to?
That's a good observation, and we did talk to two attorney offices about this, who deal in divorces and child custody and so forth. And they said this would go a long way towards resolving he said, she said types of issues. The fact that you've got it documented in a nicely formatted way means an awful lot compared to somebody's scratches on a yellow piece of paper or on the back of a napkin. So there's nothing official about it. In other words, it's your word that you created this record, but it's just it's awful nice to have it. So a family law business would appreciate this. A court system would appreciate this too, because this judge in Madison County, Illinois, that Ms. Sandra referred to, indicated that there's an awful lot of problems tied up with he said, she said types of things when they go into court and the two parties come. So just having a nicely formatted, thorough, complete, irrefutable, uneditable record goes an awful long way to support your case. So law offices would be a client group. Sections of county governments would be a group, and also quasi-governmental social work types of organizations in government would also be a prospective group. There's a question in the back.
I've got one question and a couple of comments. So you said that you were looking at doing upgrades and adding functionality. What types of upgrades or functionality were you thinking of?
One big one on our, in addition to just little cosmetic ones, one big one on our list where you could put in notes optionally. You actually have to type on a little phone, your phone pad, what you want to put in there. We're going to have a pull down that encompasses the most frequent ones, and then if it was he or she is late again, then you could actually tailor that and say, I waited 45 minutes before they show, you know, that sort of thing. That would be an ease of use type of a thing. Once you start thinking about it, you quickly come up with a couple dozen useful improvements to the app.
It seems like a way to monetize this is to have a couple different levels of functionality, so that, you know, the free version is what it is. Right. But for X law firm that specializes in contested divorces, you can customize some of the pull downs or whatever for them for a fee, for a monthly fee, and then you also do the data analysis and that kind of stuff for them. There would also be a specialty for people who deal with custodial issues of children with special needs, autistic kids, disabled kids, because then it's not just transfer parent to parent, it's did they make their doctor's appointment on time, did they get the school stuff done on time, etc. You know, and I'm assuming because it's all digital and stored in the cloud, that as soon as somebody logs in, that time is stamped, and people can't change what time they logged in. So, you know, those kinds of things. But
Yeah.
I would offer different packages to different law firms.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that we've been discussing about how we're going to monetize this product. And we're trying to create a dashboard in the back end that people would log in and then they see their statistics. So everything will be analyzed for them based on clicks that they make and based on the subscription level that they have. So we just have to get some help, I suppose, with how we can best monetize this product.
So Mike, those comments were, one, I think, I've got children, I'm not divorced, but I have some friends that are divorced, and one of the big complaints that is when they get the kids transferred to them, they're hurt, maybe they're bleeding, they don't have the right clothes, and being able to take a picture and add that to the documentation might be something that might be worthwhile. The second thing is having a way to have an email communication that goes through the app so that all those emails are recorded and documented from the spouse to spouse, so that they know that if they know that the judge is going to see that content, they might be less likely to vent and might be more likely to stay focused on the issue of I want to drop off my kid. And then how to monetize it, I think you might look at like a white label for an attorney's office and then let it be their app or their version. And for $10,000 or $200, whatever that number is, they can have it and give it as a value add for their customers.
Yep, absolutely.
Good idea.
Put their badging on it.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my God.
Oh, nice.
You have to work in the background and they badge it.
James?
When you were talking about on the phone and they know where they're at using the GPS, is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, geolocation, yes.
Is there a way to either a wristband or a pendant or inside the watch of a child to make sure that the parent doesn't run off with the child, have the GPS on the child itself, with all the kidnappings and running away with the kids? I think that would be like an upgrade or a great way to monetize. And what I'm thinking about is a young lady who just recently, remember, her child was kidnapped over 20 years ago by the husband, the biological father. The child was never found, and they just recently charged the father with murder. So I'm thinking about all those kids, the parents who run off the children, having a GPS, some way to have a GPS on that child. So in case it's not reported or not picked up on time, you know where that child is.
Wow, that is a good thought.
Yeah, that's a Jerry question.
That is a good thought, and believe it or not, we've thought of that type of thing before. Once you start thinking of new incremental functionality, it's what might seem like a good idea turns into a whole big raft of considerations that you have to go through, not only technical design and development ones, but legal ones as well. So we have to be careful not to just willy-nilly lop on new functionality. From a technical standpoint, it's sort of easy, but from how does that play out in real life in the court system or in front of your lawyer, that trips up a whole bunch of issues that need to be dealt with. So we just don't want to we want to be careful not to get bogged down user interface-wise that way.
Another thing that I thought might come up is why the app section is the statistics say that people that are getting divorced that might use this parents with young children, and at this point they're mostly millennials, and millennials are constantly on their phone. So this is the product that they're going to find very easy to use, very easy to share the output with the parties that Jerry spoke about, which includes the lawyers, the parents, or the co-parents, and the mediation services that they're working with.
In some of our research, I found out that some states are already, some family sections of some states are already mandating that they use either a particular tool or a tool like a particular tool. So some of the states are already energizing, and we intend to thoroughly investigate exactly what Illinois is doing and exactly what Missouri is doing, just our two closest by state neighbors.
Is there a lot of competition in this space?
There's a bit of competition, but the problem we found was that the different apps are adding different things to their functionality. For example, others have calendaring systems about when the game is taking place and when the kids has to be in different places. And when you go back and see the usage rate of those apps is very low. That's because they're not very focused. So what we decided then was to take a look at all these different apps and come up with the most common or the most needed functions. And we just created a small package as a result.
What did you guys tell us what your backgrounds are? So there were 3 of you, correct?
2 and 1.
2 and 1. Okay.
Personal backgrounds?
Yeah, like what makes you able to execute in this space?
I gotcha. I was educated at Southern Illinois University before it was Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville, so I'm kind of an old timer in that respect. So my background is in psychology that way, but I've been in the IT, software development, design and development, and communications for about, 35 years or so. So I've been in the milieu for quite a long, long time.
I'm a professor at SIUE. It's a small university in Edwardsville, and I'm the chair for the mass communications department. But I have a PhD in telecommunications and an MBA in data analytics. So the things we're doing here kind of apply with my background. I teach web design, web development, mobile app development, and analytics. So when we come to the dashboard, that's something that I'm really interested in to implement. And how we met, I sent an intern to Jerry, and you liked him. And then Jerry was like, oh, why don't we form a company? And then we started this. So the first product we had was actually a database for the daughters of 1812
veterans, where they're buried.
Yeah, so we built a database about graveyards and stuff so people could find where their loved ones are buried across the state. And then it just snowballed to something else. We have other products that we're working on as well that we'll bring to fruition at some point.
You mentioned 2 and 1.
Oh, the one. The one is Addison. Addison, he was a student at SIUE, did electrical engineering, and we met him here actually. Him and his friend and their professor came and pitched the product that they did, and so we started talking to him, and we brought him on to help us with the development part. So he's been working with us on and off. He has his own, he works as an engineer somewhere in St. Louis now. But with the 2 of us on the company.
So last question, what can the community do for you?
Good question. We need your ideas. You see where we are. You see what we're struggling with as far as where do we go from here. We've already received right on the floor here some good ideas as far as new functionality, as far as monetization is concerned. So that's where we are. We've got some contact cards up here. Feel free to take one. And if you've got any ideas that you'd like to pass on to us, we sure are going to glom onto them and appreciate them a lot.
Thank you very much.